as we all know that the word Maya, the word magic, all come from the word illusion. It's the same thing. And if all of us have forgotten, India's greatest heritage in the last 400 years were, guess what? Jadus. We were known for our jaduwalas, for our jugglers, and for our jinns. So it was so famous that the whole world used to talk about the jadoo which India used to produce. But today it's not there because the other jadoo has taken over, that is IT, technology. Now we are the jadugars of technology, right? So, whatever it is, I think we have to also think about documenting. I believe the Jaduwalas and all these people live in penury. They had this knowledge, and some people are still alive, but we don't know how they used to do these things, and nobody knows it because nobody documented them, and it's gone. It's an oral tradition. As Sheilaji said, she found a man flying in the air, is it? He was flying in the air in front of her. Now, how was he doing it? I mean, nobody knows it. Was it something which he did, or was it a mantra which he did, or was it something he was hanging on something? Nobody knows because nobody's documented it. So there's one thing which the chapters can do if you like to do, and if you're interested in Jadoo, you can go back and think of finding some Jaduwalas and maybe some jinns also, so that we'll have some documentation of jugglers, Jaduwalas, and jinns. So this particular magical group has given you all this afternoon. If anybody has any comments, we can. Yes, Mr. Srivastav. Please give him the mic.
I am Arun Srivastava from Betia chapter. My question, rather, is my curious mind compels me to ask this question to Dr. Doshiji. Doshiji, you talked about sacrifices and sati pratha and the heritage also. Yes. My question is, don't you think that the legacy and legend of sacrifices and sati pratha are treated as social evils and are in conflict with law?
Well, I was talking of an age that was 1,000 years ago. And I don't think that it was considered, legal or illegal, but it was considered very inspiring. It was also scripturally validated. It was the need of the hour when you had so many battles, so many people dying, and to induce them to take up something like this, such stories and such celebrations were important. Yes.
Madam, I am Lakshmi
Namaste.
Narayan.
Yes, Mr. Lakshmi Narayan.
Yeah. It was wonderful that Madam Sheila Boras, superb, because we are from Andhra Pradesh also. We have seen some of these jadugars in our childhood, the Vipra Vinodas and all those things. But I read about the Mayan culture also. Is it something to do with that? Because almost similar stories also we have been hearing, and we have met some people also when I'm in America. Uh, did you connect something which has been gone there, or is there any relation between this and that name and other things also? Because they also have the Mitra culture there. They are the worshippers of Mayan culture,
Huh.
and they are similar, like this calendar, magic. All these things are almost similar. Do you find that any connection?
With Andhra?
No, no, no. I'm talking about the Mexico.
Oh, yes.
Mayan.
I Mexico,
Yeah.
but there have been African scholars who have come,
Mhm.
and they said they have something very similar to this tiger hypnotism.
Yes.
So they came to meet the magicians here in Mayong, and get from them. But at that time my museum was not done, so they had to roam around, look for people where, but they got some idea. And I think someone took them to this magician's granddaughter, and they found, these African scholars found, they said there was a lot of similarity to the African practice and this practice.
Even Mexico, similar. When
Mexico
I'm
have
also
not done.
recollecting that,
Yes.
it's like that.
Yes, I believe in several countries they have
Name
done
also
it.
same, almost
Yes.
similar name.
Yes.
Ma'am, if I may say, you had used the word Nath here. Nath.
Nath, yes.
So, ma'am, actually, we have in North India also, in Haryana, in Gorakhpur, there's a Nath community
Yes.
which does all these practices that you have shown in the
Because
slides.
they were tantrics.
Yes, and ma'am, probably they are the same tribe
Yes.
which have migrated.
Yes.
Ma'am, one more thing.
One
Yeah.
minute, 1 minute. Somebody else must.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm Jayant Krishna from UP. Dr. Sheila Bora, just wanted to check what was the total cost of project of this museum and where did the funds come from?
Don't ask about funds, because funds we managed to collect from. It's heartbreaking to collect funds. There's so many more projects which we could have taken up, but this fund we were partially sponsored by a German institution called Gerda Henkel Stiftung before the FCRA norms became very strict. So we were funded by Gerda Henkel. We were also partially local funds. People were very, very helpful. They were willing to give us anything to do that museum. The building was donated by the Nath community. They said we will. There was an old, actually, it was a community who I went to the deputy commissioner, and then he gave us a very broken building. And the first time we put the things in there, the first bout of rains, everything started leaking, things got spoiled. And then the Nath community came forward, said, we will build a building for you. So the Nath community gave us the building, and the rest, as you see, all the showcases and everything we had to manage like this. About
The last question from Shruti.
Yeah, I think about 35 to 40 lakhs.
नमस्ते। मैं एक बात जो कि लैंग्वेज पे भी 2 लेक्चर्स हुए थे, उसके बारे में भी मैं ज़रा बात करना चाहती हूँ कि हमारे देश की बहुत ही मिट्टी की खुशबू अलग-अलग है, हर फूल की खुशबू अलग है। भाषाएँ इतनी अधिक हैं कि हम लोगों का जो है बहुत देश जो है विविधताओं से भरा, और वो भाषाएँ गीतों में, कविता में बहुत सारी विविधताओं में प्रकट होती है। लेकिन कहते हैं कि 2 की लड़ाई में तीसरे को फ़ायदा। हमारी भाषाओं को हमने प्रमोट नहीं किया तो अंग्रेजी हमारे ऊपर इतनी ज़्यादा हावी हो गई है कि हम लोग जो यहाँ पे डिस्कशन कर रहे हैं वो नेशनल लेवल पे होते हुए भी हमने अपनी किसी भी भाषा को प्रमोट नहीं किया। मैं यहाँ पे जो हमारे प्रमुख हैं उन सबों से मैं ये निवेदन करती हूँ कि अंग्रेजी भाषा को, विदेशी भाषा को प्रमोट करने के बदले अपनी भाषाओं को, अपनी संस्कृति को, इसको प्रमोट किया जाए तो ये नेशनल लेवल की बहुत बड़ी उपलब्धि होगी। इस पे आप सभी लोगों को चिंतन करना चाहिए और ये हमारे लिए आज की बहुत बड़ी ज़रूरत बन गया है। थैंक यू वेरी मच। हाँ, इसका नाम भारतीय संस्कृति भी लिख दिया होता तो बहुत अच्छा होता।
Thank you.
Okay.
I
There's
think we can have
language
this
war
over there.
there, language war there. So I will ask you, Shruti, તમે ગુજરાતીમાં કહો કે આ અંતિમ પ્રશ્ન છે.
I'll have to attempt learning Gujarati. I just wanted to add to the idea of sati and the question that was raised, because of also being in a region which has a lot of sati stories, which is Shekhawati, and also the stories I've heard from doyens of Indian culture like Mrs. Bimla Podar, who's the head of Gyan Prabha, and others about that time, because we are talking about a time many, many years ago. Sati is not just, getting into the fire after one's husband dies. It's an act of giving up one's life in the fire in any adverse situation. So even three sisters who went from one land to the other, fear of abduction, fear of rape, made them go into sati. So sati was not just an act after a person's husband died. It was an act of giving up one's life to save oneself at that time. Also, in the past, weddings took place in the day with the sun as sakshi. We didn't have night weddings. Night weddings began only because of the fear of abduction and the number of satis that were happening because of abductions and by invaders, etc. I remember the story where they said, Bimla ji has told me this herself, that young brides, girls were married very young, and when they went in the doli, they were abducted on the way. So what they started to do was they started putting these young girls in sacks. They put them in sacks and took them from one village to the other, and then made them into brides because there was so much fear of killing and abduction. So just to add to the idea of sati.
If I may,
It's on.
so, hello. If I may add, satis also stood for satya. If they thought something wrong was being done, they would sacrifice their own lives. But today we were talking of certain parables and certain legends connected with this. So I restricted myself to this rather than talking about everything. Also, the life of a widow was very miserable. And many of them committed suicide by jumping into wells and all. We have also stories where girls, songs and legends where girls say, please don't give your daughters to this sort of land where they have no protection and they have to die. So very sad and very tragic songs are there. But I think the times were such where abduction, where misery, all that was piled on to people, to young defenseless girls. And I think widowhood was primarily seen as being defenseless. Thank you.
Sir. Okay. 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 Just to give the quick vote of thanks, and before that, a token of appreciation to our guests. I would request Vice Chairperson to hand over a token of appreciation to Dr. Abi. And you, yeah. Dr. Bora? Yeah. Very quick vote of thanks because we are running into the lunch time. I must, before anything else, you have exactly 35 minutes to have lunch and you have to come back for the next session. So I please implore you all to be quick about it. We've been running short of time. बीच में थोड़ा सा पार्लियामेंट हाउस का माहौल बन गया था with the language wars, but that's okay. That's all part of discourse. Thank you very much to all our esteemed speakers for sparing the time. Thank you all the dear conveners for attending this program from across India. We have been honored to meet you face to face. And to all the team for organizing. Thank you very much.